Hey, everybody, welcome back to Frequency 140. And as always, I'm joined by my awesome co host, Mr. Sean Bennett.
What's up, y'all?
And today, since WrestleMania is right around the corner, man, instead of doing like a best of, we thought we might throw a little bit of light on the most underrated WrestleMania
Mm-hmm.
matches ever.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go out of your way and watch those along with the classics.
As you should.
Yes,
As you
absolutely.
should. Right.
So I'm going to go ahead and get this started,
Okay.
bud. All right, I'm actually going to go with WrestleMania 12, and it's Undertaker versus Diesel.
Ooh, okay.
And like I really, really enjoyed this match. And because it was really one of the first matches where the Undertaker really got to have a real match
Yes.
in his streak.
Yes.
Because
it wasn't
in the
a give.
beginning,
It wasn't a throw. Right.
yeah, it, like and I mean the one with Jake Roberts at 8 was good, but like this one was a really, really, really good match.
Yeah.
So it was great to see the Undertaker. I love the build up and like Kevin Nash like saying he's unafraid of the dark all the time, and it was great, man.
And that's the thing too. Like, if I remember correctly, the build up for this was when we kind of first started seeing little bitty cracks of behind the curtain type thing.
Yeah.
Because this is where Kevin Nash as Diesel was kind of losing his cool, right? And I remember him swearing, and that was like the big thing. Oh my God, you saw him out.
Especially then.
Right, yeah. And the frustration. And was this also where he got pulled?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So this is all a major
Got pulled down from the
thing.
ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Because you talk about that's not a knock. It's just a lot of people don't really give Kevin Nash enough credit, but especially his run as Diesel. They always crap on that thing, and. But I agree with you. I think this was the first time. You're right that the Undertaker had an actual match, like
because
like a story to tell, other than
yeah.
just going in there and getting the squash or whatever they
Yeah,
were doing.
very much so. Yeah, because 7 was Snuka, 8 was Jake, 9 was John Gonzalez. He would miss 10, but then he'd face at 11 he'd face King Kong Bundy.
Right.
And then, but this one was really, really Undertaker really got to wrestle.
Right. And then I agree with you. That's definitely up there. One of the most underrated for sure.
What you got over there, buddy?
All right. So my next one, we're talking about underrated WrestleMania matches. Let's take it on back to WrestleMania 3.
Well,
WrestleMania 3.
Yeah, man.
1987, Pontiac Silverdome. We're talking about the Hart Foundation versus the British Bulldogs. And if you guys don't know anything about Canadian wrestling, Stampede Wrestling, this was a master class.
Mm-hmm.
A
Absolutely.
master class, and how that style and that way of working is supposed to be and to look. And I mean, they pulled it off brilliantly. But now, granted, they've been working together for over 20 years at this point.
Yeah.
But still,
Yeah, they
an
get to do it
amazing
on that
match.
stage,
Yeah,
too.
an
I mean, like,
amazing match.
Yeah. If you want to know where the future of wrestling was going,
Right.
it's like that match.
Right. And it's unfortunate that, just a short while after this match is when, Dynamite Kid's back went out.
Mm-hmm.
So I underrated for sure, but I think also just, we were right there on the peak and things were getting ready to roll, and then we just kind of like the rug got pulled out from underneath. Because I was a big British Bulldogs fan.
They were great.
I love the British
They were
Bulldogs.
so
man.
good.
So that right there is definitely one of my most underrated is WrestleMania 3 Hart Foundation versus British Bulldogs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great match, man. Great one. All right. So my second one, I'm just gonna give a kind of a shout out to the one match, like because I had 2 on here, but they're both on the same card.
Okay.
The one I'm gonna pick is Macho Man versus Ric Flair at WrestleMania 8.
Ooh, yeah.
And but the match I was kind of wanting to give a shout out to is Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper, which I think to me, other than the dog collar match, this is Roddy Piper's best match.
Agreed.
Like
Agreed.
it's phenomenal. And now, I mean, thankfully it's getting some of the respect it deserves because you see like CM Punk, I've seen Edge do the finish at the end of this match.
Right.
And it's just a classic. Please go check it out. But speaking of the classic, the one I mentioned prior, Macho Man versus Flair, that should have made event of the night. Like,
Yeah.
It was so good. The story going into it was great. You didn't know if Miss Elizabeth was with Flair earlier, and Flair was taunting Savage with all these photos of them like by the pole and stuff like that.
Right.
And it was just driving Savage insane. It was just great match.
Right.
And Flair would infamously get in trouble for blading during this match because you couldn't bleed back then, at least right then anyway, in
Right.
WWF. And he got fined, I think, like $15,000 or something. So no wonder you went back to WCW.
Well, it was at that time. It was
Yeah.
coming to the end of that that end of that run. Very underrated match because you're literally you're getting Ric Flair and Macho Man Randy Savage, and it was a great match.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was two guys that knew
Like
what they
10
were
out of 10.
doing. Yeah, it was a great
Like
match.
type match.
So I just, like I said, I hate that people kind of look at it for that. Like you said, it wasn't the main event; it was the co-main event. It should have been the main event. Like that was it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of people just got so caught up in the, like, well, me, I was very excited about this. You know what I'm saying? There's all these things going on, all these moving parts that were kind of confused me a little bit.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's so underrated, because I think people aren't allowed to really remember it as it was based on what all was going down at the time. So,
Yeah. No,
but
you're right.
I agree with you. Yeah. Cool. All right, back on me. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and I know my last one's going to be so controversial, so I'm just going to go ahead and get this one out here. But number 3 for me is going to be Undertaker versus Ric Flair, WrestleMania 18.
Nice.
A lot of backstory behind this. You've got Ric Flair, who's coming off the WCW thing and the run, and he's admitted to it. It's just got him crazy. He's just off the wall. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He has no self-confidence. He's being used as like an on-air commissioner and or president or, you know, whatever's going on.
Yeah,
Really hadn't
yeah.
got back in the ring yet. And behind the scenes, they keep, you know, hey, man, come on, let's get a program going. Everybody's wanting to work with him. And he's like, I'm just not ready. So it took the Undertaker going up to him and be like, look, you're Ric Flair. You know, cut the crap, get in the ring, and let's go. And that was the match that was able to break Ric Flair out of that mold, or that mood he had been in. Right? He realized again that I am Ric Flair. I can still do this. Now, fast forward, that last match he had a few years back. I don't know. That maybe shouldn't have happened. So this match with Undertaker may have been that catalyst to, you know, reignite that fire, right? But I mean, it was a great match because you could see through the progression of the match, Ric Flair coming back to his form. Mm-hmm. I could see it. I could see it from the beginning. It was timid, not as assured, but by the end of the match, it was Ric Flair and it was Undertaker, and I was like, all right. That's cool. So
yeah, it was great. And then also that surprise spine buster by Anderson.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was so good.
There you go. There you go.
All right, I'm gonna get a little bit more modern.
Mm-hmm.
This one is gonna be Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 31.
Yeah.
This match is great, and one of the greatest RKO finishes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Where, you know, Seth goes for the curb stomp, and then Randy catches him
out of nowhere,
15 feet in the air somehow.
And that's the way the move's designed to be.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. That's the whole. And he did that. It was nailed. You're absolutely right. I remember that one.
It was so good. Yep. And the rest of the match, even before that, was great. I mean, I don't know if Seth Rollins can have a bad match, or Orton.
Right.
I mean, you can't go wrong.
Well, like I said, you know, in the same way you're dealing with two individuals that are at the top of their game, you know, peak. And then to watch it, and it just that right there alone, that RKO alone, just the timing.
Oh,
is
dude,
beautiful.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You know, I mean, you can't teach that.
And
that either you know how to feel that and know, or you don't. It goes back to the whole Royal Rumble thing with Bret Hart and Lex Luger going over at the same time. Luger says it. Hey, Bret just said, "Hold on to me, I got this." Mm-hmm. To make that physically happen in that moment, that's the art form, you know. So again, I appreciate watching that match over again, especially that moment just out of nowhere. Just there it is. You know?
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Absolutely.
All right, so what's your last one, man?
All right, last one. Here we go. Most underrated match as far as WrestleMania goes.
Okay.
Controversy. I know you might not be able to find it on the network or you can find it on the web. I'm sure. You know, YouTube, all that good stuff. But it's going to be Chris Benoit versus Kurt Angle, WrestleMania 17.
Yeah, that's really good though.
It's a master class. Mm-hmm. It's two athletes, two professional wrestlers at the top of their game, and they give it their all. And I unfortunately, due to other outside circumstances, I don't think it'll ever be given its credit.
I mean, you're right, man. I mean, it was a technical masterpiece.
It was. It was something to behold. And anybody that I know, there's a lot of people that are not happy with Chris Benoit, and I understand why.
Oh yeah, totally.
Being a professional wrestling fan, though, they wasn't there was very few better than he was as far as his style, his size, his whole demeanor in the sport, right? So you can't take that away from him. And you watch his matches, and that's where the proof is. Proof's in the pudding, per se. There it is, right there. So that right there is my most underrated match is going to be Benoit versus Angle, just because it was a masterclass in professional wrestling.
It was. Yeah, you're not wrong, man. Well, that'll do it, folks. Hope you enjoyed the show.
All right.
Please like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. You can follow us at F140Pod on Instagram, and you can follow us at Frequency 140 Podcast on Patreon. And as always, I send it back to you, Sean.
Well, brothers and sisters, we appreciate you always as tuning in and hanging out with us. Thank you so much for just sitting back, relaxing, and enjoying the conversation. And as always, geeks, freaks, and nerds, let's unite and take over this world.
Peace.